Today in our devotion time, I want to speak to you about dealing with conflict in your marriage. Now, I know that when you get married, you think, boy, everything's going to be great and you love each other and you're all on your, showing your best P's and Q's and trying to impress each other and you don't have the kind of conflict that you do once you get married. And then once you enter into that relationship, conflict arises. How do you deal with conflict? Well, the Bible says in 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7 that we're to deal with our wives in an understanding manner and to treat our wives as a fellow heir of the grace of life. And so I found two principles that has helped me with dealing with conflict in my marriage. The first thing is to really respect my wife. So many times what happens as men is that we think we're right. We know, we understand, we've got it. And we really, if we were honest, we have to admit that we don't view our wives' opinion as highly as we ought to view their opinion. But 1 Peter says that they are a fellow heir of the grace of life. What does that mean? That means, they've got some views sometimes that are better than ours. They have the grace of life. They have everything that God's put in you, God's put in them. And so you need to respect what they have to say. And I think so many times a woman needs that. I know early on in my marriage, this was a great problem for me because I thought I knew it all and I was proud, I was arrogant, and God had to break me. God had to show me that I was not respecting my wife. And because we take that verse, wives submit to your husbands, but before it ever says in Ephesians 5, wives submit to your husbands, it says this, submitting to one another in the fear of the Lord. And that word submission means an attitude of respect. And so you're to respect her just as she's to respect you, but you are to respect her. And so there needs to be that level of respect in your life for your wife, for her viewpoint. The second thing is to deal with her in an understanding way. Now, what does that mean to deal with her in an understanding way? So many times we men and women, as men and women, are so different and we deal with issues from a whole different paradigm. And so what happens is we don't understand. And it's so easy for us. And we've got to, it's something you really have to work at because a woman thinks differently. A woman, she's made differently, she's created differently, and she thinks differently. And so many times for us as men, it's hard for us to understand, but we've got to commit ourselves. This is not something that you just walk into and it happens so easily. It's something you've got to concentrate on and you've got to say, explain this to me. Help me to understand why you feel this way. What is it that's causing you? And you need to, sometimes it's emotions, sometimes it's something in the past. It could be a number of things, who knows? But you need to try to understand what it is, especially when there's conflict. Instead of just, getting your spiritual boxing gloves on, try to understand where she's coming from. If you will do that, I believe God will bless and God will enable you to work through those problems, and He will give you understanding and He will show you how to love your wife like Christ loves the church.